Hello everyone, and welcome back to Teaching English to Kids, a journey of fun learning. I'm your host, Paola Pando. Have you ever had a song stuck in your head for hours or maybe days? Imagine harnessing that powerful, sticky quality not for a commercial jingle, but for language learning. What if you could make the English language as infectious as a pop song? So today, in episode 7, we are turning up the volume on a classic teaching tool, music and songs. We'll explore the neuroscience behind why melody is a superhighway to child's memory, hear from leading researchers, and I'll give you some practical and ready-to-use songs, activities for your classroom. Are you ready to dive in? Okay. First of all, let's recap a little bit and then talk about the universal lure of music. In our last episodes, we have talked about the power of play and stories. Well, music sits right at the beautiful intersection of both. It's a structured play and it tells a story. But its power is even more fundamental. From lullabies to playground chants, music is a universal part of childhood. You know that. You were a child. It's how we first learn the rhythm and intonation of our own language, the native one. So, it's natural that is one of the most effective tools we have for a second language acquisition. Okay, but let's get into the why. The connection between music and language isn't just anecdotal. It's biological and deeply rooted in cognitive science. The classic research, that's first. We always mention that. The foundational work of Dr. Stephen Krashen on the affective filter hypothesis is key here. You know that I'm a fan of natural approach. So we have larger talk about this factor in second language acquisition. Music and rhythm dramatically lower a student's anxiety and stress. When the affective filter is down, the door to language acquisition is wide open. Songs create a joyful, low-pressure environment where kids feel safe to experiment with sounds. So it's a perfect example of that affective filter hypothesis. Furthermore, the concept of chunking, pioneered by linguists like Michael Lewis in the 90s, he explains that we learn language best in multi-word phrases, not single words. So songs are the ultimate provider of these chunks. So think of phrases like how are you, what is it, or what's this, what's your name. They are learned and recalled as a single musical unit, not words in isolation. So let's look at recent neuroscience studies to support what we have discussed so far. In the last 5 years, researchers have used advanced brain imaging to see this in action. Building upon decades of research, scientists like Angela Frederici and her team at the Max Planck Institute have established that the human brain uses shared neural networks to process both language and music. These shared brain regions include the auditory and prefrontal cortices. Frederici's work, including studies using EEG, demonstrate that the brain processes musical regularities and linguistic grammar using overlapping neural resources. For instance, studies show that musical violation activate brain regions similar to those involved in processing grammatical mistakes in a sentence. While the specific 2021 study mentioned is inaccurate in this point, a 2002 study by the Max Planck Institute, the same as Frederici's work, demonstrated that a cortical network previously thought to be specific to language also serves to process musical information. So this body of evidence highlights how music and language are processed in a highly interconnected fashion in the brain, rather than through completely separate pathways. On the other hand, Dr. Nina Kraus, a neuroscientist at Northwestern University, has conducted extensive research through her Brainbolts lab. In her 2021 book, Of Some Mind, she demonstrates how making music strengthens the neural connection between what we hear and what we do. This is crucial for language. Hearing the word clap, for example, and then performing the action is reinforced powerfully when set to a rhythm. Kraus' research confirms the powerful connection between rhythm, music, and language. Her studies show that the neural processes strengthened by music training, such as fine-tuned processes of pitch and timing, are the same ones that are often deficient in individuals with dyslexia and other language disorders. The example of reinforcing the action of clapping to a rhythm is a good illustration of the sensory motor enhancement she describes. So, as a conclusion, investigations confirm music doesn't just help us remember words, it literally tunes the brain for language. So, the important question: how do we translate this brilliant science into action? Okay, here there are 3 practical activities that you can use several times, all the times in your classes. So the sticky chunk song, that is number 1. So what you have to do is to use a song to teach a common language chunk. So how to do that? Take a useful phrase like I like to eat or I see, depends on what you are teaching at that moment. Set it to a simple and well-known tune like, I don't know, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star or The Wheels on the Bus, any kind of tune that you like and your students enjoy. Sing it together and then have students insert different vocabulary words. I like to eat apples. I like to eat bananas. So you are using melody to consolidate grammar and vocabulary at the same time and in context. That's the most important in language acquisition. So what about 2? A second recommendation. Total physical response. We have mentioned that before, that is essential when you teach English to kids. So for example, like jazz chants that you can use at any moment in your English classes. What's the goal? To connect language with movement and rhythm. And how to do it? You have to use or create a simple rhythm chant with a clear beat. For example, in the morning. So you want to teach morning routines. So what are you doing? What are you doing? I'm waking up. I'm waking up. And students must stretch and yawn when they say I'm waking up, of course. What are you doing? What are you doing? I'm brushing my teeth. I'm brushing my teeth. And they have to make that brushing motion. And you too. You as well. What are you doing? What are you doing? I'm having breakfast. I'm having breakfast. Or I'm eating my breakfast, as you wish. See? And you have to pretend you're chewing and swallowing the breakfast. I'm sorry. See? And then you can change. See? Because you can say teaching morning routines, but I don't know, different action bursts, for example. What do you normally do in the park, or whatever you want, you can add. This is one of my favorite ones because you can change just the words and it's perfect when you say what's this or what's that. So what's this? What's this? And you point to an object that is close to you. It's a book. It's a book. And you have to show, of course, the book, or they can do it actually. What's that? What's that? Point to an object far away. That is what you have to do. See? That's a window. That's a window. what's this? What's this? And you can point to some part of your body. It's my nose. It's my nose. See? And what is the magic of this chant? That you can change the words and the structure all the time. So you can use in your classes for teaching anything and practicing. You don't need to check pronunciation when you are teaching a chant, see, because lots of repetition and enjoyment will help students to improve their pronunciation. And the classic ones, for example, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. That's the classic, but you can replace with different emotions and actions at the same time, of course. So if you're angry and you know, stomp your feet and you stomp your feet. See, if you're sleepy and you know it, yawn out loud and you yawn loudly. See, you can change all the time, so you don't need a bunch of different songs. You just use and choose some tunes that you like and your students as well, and then change the structure and the vocabulary all the time. So this combines the power of music with the physical memory of movement, creating a multi-sensory memory trace. Remember, we also discussed this when we talk about playing and storytelling. Exactly what researchers like Kraus are talking about right now. What about the third one? Song gap fill with a twist. So you know that this is a very, very common kind of activity where worksheet in your classroom. So what's the goal? To practice listening comprehension in a fun, game-like way. How to do it? Choose a simple, repetitive song first, then create a worksheet where keywords are missing, but instead of just writing the word, use pictures for beginners, for example. For more advanced students, you can use antonyms or synonyms as clues. As they listen, they have to fill in the gap. See, this turns passive listening into an active and a cognitive task, of course. So see, according to what we have discussed today, music isn't just entertainment. It's a strategic, neuroscience-backed tool that makes language stickier, first, lesson more joyful, and the brain more receptive for language acquisition. It's about turning your English classroom into a place where language is felt, not just learned. Everybody loves music, so you will enjoy these activities a lot as well. Okay, next week, I'm not so sure what we are going to talk about, but probably we are going to tackle a question I get all the time. How do I handle mixed ability classes? So we'll talk about different strategies, ensure every child in your room is challenged, but at the same time supported. Guys, as usual, if you found this helpful, please share this episode with a teacher friend who has a song in their heart. And until then, keep singing, keep dancing, keep making a beautiful difference in your classroom and especially in your children's brains. So thank you very much for listening and being tuned. See you in the next episode. Bye everyone.